wonderful evening. Just remember, guys, if you like this channel or you like the videos on this channel, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support will go a long way. I truly appreciate all the support that I've been getting from each and every one of you. Thank you guys for liking the video. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank you guys for all the support. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. All right? Because I'm here trying to share this information and just make it easier for a lot of people. Because what I'm doing, my experience, my experiment, is what I'm actually sharing with you guys. So, yes, I'm here tonight, and what we're going to be focusing on tonight is ginger. How to plant ginger. And a lot of people grow ginger from store bought. Nothing wrong with that. You do what you got to do. But if your first year, you grow ginger from store bought, always save a few for the next season. Because one root of ginger, if you save one root of ginger for the next season, that could multiply your crop. Because you could get one root of ginger like this, one root, and it can start sprouting, give you several different sprouts, and you could end up with 5, 10 roots of ginger. So every year you always save some that you could multiply for the following year. So as you can see, we have ginger. Now take some of these out of the soil that I lay on the soil. And it's so easy for ginger to propagate. Like I mentioned, it's very important if you dealing with store-bought ginger, it's very important to soak them for overnight. That because, like you see, for instance, right? Ginger you could have ginger rest down and it could just start sprouting. So for the people who selling ginger, they don't want the ginger to sprout on the shelf. So what I've learned that they have a spray. I can't remember the name of the spray. That they spray to keep the ginger from sprouting. So now you want to make sure you soak the ginger in water to keep that, to get that spray off, that you can basically put them in the soil and they're easier to germinate, to propagate. Sometimes this is why a lot of people seems like it's so difficult to propagate ginger. Maybe that's a part of the problem. The spray that's there to keep them from propagating, keeping them from start sprouting. So what we're gonna be doing tonight, in this container we have ginger, but this ginger is only, I put this ginger in this container right here to propagate. And I'm telling you, these ginger propagate so fast. I'm telling you right now. Can you see them? All right. Let me bring it in the light that maybe you can see. These ginger had propagate so fast. But the thing is, I cannot leave them in this container because I have so much of them. There's so much of them and there's too much to hold in this container. The truth is, I wanted to take them out and plant them in ground. But right now, we in February, we still in January right now. And if I wait until maybe March, April to plant these, to try to transplant these out of this container. That might be a situation, because if you notice how the root already start pushing in the space of 3 months, all of them gonna be tangling up. So what's gonna happen, I will have to detangle their root, which might be damaging their root, in order to separate them. And I don't think I want to do that, because that can be actually a setback. That could be a setback for the ginger. And what we got to understand, ginger takes at least 6 to 8 months to mature. So if ginger take 8 to 6 months to mature, you really want to be planting ginger now. You see, propagating your ginger now. So I have some already propagate, and I'm going to be transplanting them into containers. And these over here now start to propagate. So I'm going to keep these set to transplant in the ground. But these, I'm going to be putting them in containers. In this container. And in this container, you don't want to have too much. You want them to have space that they could go. Don't forget to like, guys. Hit the like button. I will truly appreciate this. AK Shot, how you doing? Thank you, thank you. Never knew ginger takes that long. Definitely, in order for them to mature, it takes to at least 6 to 8 months to really mature. So now is the time to start indoors. Now is the time to start your ginger indoors, so you have some time. All right? Because at the end of the day, your goal is to make sure. What is this? Right. All these are ginger. Your goal is to make sure that they mature. But these germinate, these propagate really beautiful. You know the soil that these propagate into? These propagate into the soil that come from a oak tree that breaks down. A oak tree that breaks down for a period of time, around 10 years, I take the compost, scrape it up, and I put it in the container and put the ginger. My goodness, these things germinate like so. These things start propagating so fast. And if you notice now, they're getting ready to push leaf. How do you know when the ginger is ready to harvest? Well, when the ginger is ready to harvest, you're going to start seeing the leaf start getting dry. And most people harvest when they know the frost is getting ready to come. So they harvest a little before the frost. But you're going to start seeing the leaf them start turning a little yellowish. That's how you know your ginger is ready to harvest. So all these, if you notice here, all these is already propagate. And what I've loved again about ginger, guys, you see this one here, this one have two. This have two. 1, 2. You could break this off and you have 2 separate roots of ginger. Or you can just leave it just like this and just let it do its thing. So, I'm telling you, they're propagating so fast. Listen to me, it ain't 2 weeks yet. since I put these in the soil. But look how fast they already propagate. So now these ginger stand a very good chance of being mature when the garden season is over. Because guess what? We start propagating them in January. So we have February, March, April, May, June, July, August, full. We have the full maximum month for these to mature. So guys, if you have ginger, do not wait. Don't wait. You should start propagating them right at this moment. These things propagating so fast, guys. Watch. You see, it's a lot I have in the container, but you cannot grow all of them in this one container. It's too much. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to be doing. In a minute, let me take all the ginger out first. And then I'm going to show you how I'm going to plant them. I'm going to explain to you how deep. Because the depth also, look here again, watch. These things propagate like really beautiful. You see? It's a whole lot I have in the container, and I cannot leave all of them in this container because they're not going to have enough room for each and every one of them to grow. But majority of them that's in this soil already propagate, already. This soil is amazing. When you know, I did a live last night about soil. So for the people who didn't check out that live, please check out that live. Because I was talking about 2 different composts last night and how they were marvelous. This is a prime example, guys. This is a prime example. There's another set of ginger that I put in a container the same time I put with these in this soil. And they still now trying to push out their eyes. Why these already getting ready to push leaf? If you can see there, this is leaf, it's ready to push. So we want to get all the ginger out. Okay. All right. So this is a container here. And we're going to plant a few of them in this container. We have another container here where we're going to plant. It's a lot of them already propagate. And like I was now mentioning, it's too much to be in this container. This container is not big enough to house all of them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out all of them that propagate, and I'm going to take a few of them and place them back in the container. But the first thing, with this container, you really don't need a container this tall. You really don't need that, because I'm going to tell you about ginger. Ginger don't go down deep. Ginger don't push their root down. Ginger push their roots sideways. All right, so we prefer have the space that the ginger can push sideways than the depth. So how deep do we plant our ginger? Right, this is very important. How deep do you plant your ginger? All right. Well, I say at least 5 to 6 inches deep. Some people are going to say 4 inches. That's good as well. But I say 5 to 6 inches deep because sometimes the ginger get a little high. So you don't want them too much on the surface because of the sun. So you want them to be under the ground. So I'll say 5 to 6 inches deep. You want to plant your, like for instance, you want to plant this, you put it down at least 5 to 6 inches deep. The next thing you want to do, you want to make sure that the soil is pretty soft. You don't want that clam up hard soil. You want the soil to be soft because remember, ginger produce under the surface. And these roots, the more they grow, you stand a chance of having a better harvest. So if the soil is rock hard, how can the root push through? How can the tube them get big? The tube cannot get big because why the tube cannot be? Because the soil is too hard. So you want, if you notice, this soil is pretty soft, and if you notice, you're going to see how the roots them now germinate, but you're going to see how the roots them pushing themselves because the soil is soft. That's important. Any root crop you're growing, it's best to have them in a soft soil that they can push their root, because the more they push their root, the further they push their root, you stand a chance of getting a way bigger harvest. So basically, let's see how much ginger we have to plant at this moment. I mean, all of them could plant, but let's look at these ones. These ones that already shoot, and these are growing so fast. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We cannot put 15 ginger in this container. We cannot put 15 ginger. It's going to be not big enough. And the type of soil we're growing these ginger with, the soil we're growing these ginger with is a liquor soil from our garden, and compost, the compost that we get breakdown from the tree that fell and breakdown. Then we also want to get compost from leaf mold. So we want to make sure that the soil is soft and beautiful so that the roots can push through. The more the root push through, the more these roots push through, you stand a chance of getting a way bigger harvest. So if you notice here, I don't know if you can see right here, this is where the soil is. So we know for a fact this soil is not enough, right? We know for a fact because like I now mentioned a minute ago, we need at least 5 to 6 inches of soil. We're going to get a container at least 8 inches high, 8 inches tall. But this one is like about 18 inches, but that's fine. That's fine. What we're going to do now, what we have to do now, because like I now mentioned, this is not enough soil. Remember, you got to have enough soil. The ginger can push its roots and it can grow and it can create bulbs. You don't want the ginger to be on top of the surface like this because the sun, that's not going to be good at all. You want it to be under the surface. So you want to make sure you have enough soil. Whether it's in your container, if it's in a container, you want to make sure you have enough soil. If it's in raised bed, you want to make sure you plant them at least 5 to 6 inches deep. You want to make sure that they're under the ground. Hey, Kim, Mommy, how you doing? Blessings to you. Happy New Year. I like the live and I will share. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're on your phone, double tap the screen, guys. These kind of live. This is live, guys. Live information. All it takes, all I'm asking for you to hit the like. It means a whole lot to us. All right? Okay. So now we already know, like we were saying here, we have like 3 inches of soil. 3 inches of soil. That's not good at all. 3 inches is not good. So what we're going to try to do here, we're going to try to add more soil and try to get it to at least 5 inches. All right? Because we're doing it indoors, we might not have enough soil, but what I'm going to tell you is, even though we plant them, we want to make sure there's 5 inches underneath where we plant them. So for instance, if I put the soil and it's 5 inches, I'm just going to place them on top. Tomorrow, I'm going to get the other soil to cover it. Okay? So what we're going to do now, we're going to take this soil and we're going to put it in this container. So now, I don't know if you can see, guys. Let me see if I can turn the video a little more. I don't know if you can see, right? But we now add some, you know what we now add here, guys? We now add some leaf mold into this container. So now, as you can see, we have more soil in the container. We have more soil. So now we can start planting our ginger, which we know we need more soil. We still need more soil, but we don't have it now because I only bring this was to do a demonstration that you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So let me kind of bring it over a little more that you can see. So we add a little more soil. Now, what we're going to do now, we're going to place just a few. It's hard for you guys to see. I'm sorry. But we're going to place at least, with this container, we could place at least 8. Remember, you don't want to put it too close to the container, to the end of the container, because you want to give the ginger room to grow both sides. So you won't give it room to the container, you won't give it room to go to the center as well. Because, guys, ginger don't grow down, they push their root crossway. The next thing you want to do, you want to plant them flat like this. Not like this. Flat like this. So when you plant it flat like this, all the sprout that it push up gonna just start coming up in the air. So not like this, guys. You want to put them flat like this. So how much we have? We have 1. We're only gonna put 6 in this container. So we're gonna put 6. So we have 6 ginger in this container. So I'm sorry that you guys cannot see, but this is the container, and we have 6 ginger, root of ginger in this container. Since we have like 5 inches of soil to the bottom, oh, you can see good? Okay, beautiful. Since we have 5 inches of soil to the bottom, I'm not going to bury it in the soil. I'm only going to rest them on top of the soil. Then, tomorrow, I'm going to cover them with the soil. And after I do that, this is it. I'm going to leave them to grow in this container. And when the spring comes, I'm not going to transplant them. I'm going to keep them in this container and I'm going to let them grow in this container. So guess what? These ginger that's in this container gonna just grow out their time in the season, and then guess what? After the when harvest time, I just turn over the container and harvest time. Let me see. Question. Kiami question. Do you continue to add soil and compost to the container like you do? No, with the ginger. With the ginger, you don't really, once you have 6 inches of soil in the container, you basically okay. You basically okay. So now we have 5 inches now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some soil to the top and just leave it. The reason why you don't really need to be adding more compost, because the ginger, like I was mentioning, they grow crossway. They don't go down in the ground. They grow like this. You see like this? Crossway. So there, see this is the ginger. What's gonna happen? It's gonna start push ginger come out. So the room that you need is for it to spread. So 6 inches of soil is pretty good for ginger. Plant them at least 6 inches. All right? 6 inches of soil, basically good enough. The thing is, okay, for instance, we have 5 inches of soil now. What I'm going to do, as you see, I rest them on the surface. Like I mentioned, they're not going to be growing down. They're going to spread out. Spread themselves. So what you want to do, you want to make sure they have room between the ginger and the container. You want to make sure there's room. Then you want to make sure there's room in the center. So you don't want to overcrowded the container with ginger, because you're messing up, because you're not giving the ginger enough room. I put 6, and I think 6 is more than enough. I think 6 is more than enough for this container. I think 6 is more than enough. So like I said, all you got to do, you put the ginger in the soil. Make sure the ginger is covered. Make sure there's enough soil on top of the ginger, because like I mentioned, guys, they don't go down, they go cross, they grow crossway. So like how I put this, say for instance, I put this now. I'm going to come with at least, maybe I put another 3 to 4 inches on top of it. That's it. You see what I'm saying? Right. So you could plant it down to the bottom. Say for instance, you plant it maybe 3 inches. You want to make sure you put enough soil on top of it to cover it. Okay? So let me put it this way, just to be clear. We have the bottom. And we just lay the ginger on top of the surface. This is more than enough soil to the bottom. Now we're going to put more soil to the top. So for instance, like I was now saying, I put at least 4 inches of soil to the top. I can open this soil and bury it down, push it down in the soil, but I'm not going to do that. I think this is enough to the bottom. But at least have at least 4 inches of soil on top the ginger. Okay? At least 4 inches, can be 5 inches, can be 6 inches of soil on the top of the ginger. So when you place the ginger like this, you put the ginger on top of the soil like that. You come over it and you cover it with at least 5 to 6 inches of soil, and you're basically good. Now, if you're digging down in the container, you still want to make sure you have 5 to 6 inches of soil that's going to be covering the ginger. So this is how you get great harvest. All right. So now we have our 6 ginger in this container, and tomorrow I don't have enough soil. So tomorrow I'm going to be adding another 5 to 6 inches, however you want. 5 to 6 inches of soil on top of these ginger. And that's it. And just leave them by a window and just let them grow. In the spring, you take the container outside and that's it. You also want to make sure your container have holes, meaning drainage, that the water can come out. Ginger prefer the soil to be drained. Ginger don't like to grow in water. Okay? Let me see. Question. When planting in the earth. Okay. All right. No. It's just different with the ginger. It's just different. You have to give them room to spread. They don't go down. So you want them to be at least 4 inches of soil over them. At least 4 inches. Could be a little more, could be 5, could be 6. But at least 4 inches of soil over the ginger. Okay? So now we have another container here. We have another container. We have 1, 2, 3. But this container is pretty small. This is a pretty small container here. And we also gonna be placing the ginger inside the container. In this container, we only gonna put 4, a matter of fact, 3 ginger. We don't wanna overcrowd the container. You know, this one is pretty small. No, we only gonna put 2 in this container. So the truth is, you don't want to overcrowd. This is the container, guys. And if you see, we have 2 ginger in here. We have 1 here and we have 1 here. We have this one and we have this one. So this is more than enough for this container. So now we have these ginger, and like I mentioned, guys, like I now mentioned, we still have a lot that sprout. Watch. All these sprout. And look, some of them here, if you notice, some of these start sprouting as well. Like I now mentioned, I start these ginger pretty early. Let me see. How big will ginger get? Well, ginger, it depends. It really depends. These are ginger that I grow. These are ginger that I grow, and as you can see, you know, sometimes you get it like this. Sometimes you have a whole bundle of ginger from one root. You see, so it still depends. That's why it's important for the soil to be soft. And if you have rich soil, that make it better. Soft, rich soil, make it a lot better. So we have these ginger here, because we're trying to grow a lot of ginger this year. That's one of our focus this year, growing a lot of ginger. So we have all these ginger here that's already basically sprout already. So we need more container to put in these ginger, because we cannot keep them bundled up to each other, because what's gonna happen their root gonna tangle up with each other, then guess what happen? I will have to fight to get rid of to detangle them, and then I'm gonna damage their root. So this is why I'm taking the steps now of placing them in container. But my real goal is planting them in the ground. That's my real goal. But because these sprout so fast, because these propagate so fast, I cannot wait 2 months, 3 months to transplant them. So it's the wisest thing for me to do now is place them in containers and just let them grow out their time in the container. So all these we gotta put in container. All these we gotta put in container, and we have a lot more here. Look here. These ginger here, these ain't really start. These now trying to push out their eyes, but I want these to grow pretty slow. If you notice, you're gonna see here. You see? But I want them to grow slow. I want these to propagate slow because I need to put these in the ground. You know, I don't want to be putting all the ginger in the container. So I'm going to just keep these in a little cool area, not too warm, maybe a little coolish area, and just let them propagate pretty slow instead of fast like how these fast. Because if they keep propagating fast like these, what I will have to do, I will have to put them in container, and I really don't want to do that. If you notice here, we have, this is ginger we have here as well. This is ginger. This is ginger we have here as well in this container. So we just propagating ginger, and I'm telling you, these things, listen to me guys. I've been doing this type of thing for a very long time. And the fastest soil I see propagate ginger was leaf mold. And like when a tree breaks down for years and you take the compost, these things propagate so fast, and then from the time they propagate, they just start pushing their root. So what I did over here, I actually used clay soil mixed with regular soil. And these, I put them in the same time. But these is propagating pretty slow, and that's what I want. I don't want they propagate too fast because, like I said, I will have to find a container. So these are things you have to think about, guys. You have to think about it. If you're planning and plant in the ground, in the raised bed, and you propagating your ginger, you cannot have them in one container with a bunch of ginger just growing on, because guess what? If this ginger take its course now without any disturbance, you stand a chance of getting a full mature ginger, and you stand a chance of getting a massive root of ginger because you have enough time. Now, this is why I'm doing this process now, because if all these grow together, their root gonna tangle up on each other, then you're gonna have to detach them. Then some of the root gonna get damaged. Then that ginger gonna go and stand still. It's gonna have to regenerate back the root that you damaged in order for it to continue its journey. So it's never good to stop the process of any plant. This is why when you're transplanting a plant, you try not to damage the root. It doesn't matter what type of plant. It could be ginger, cabbage, collard green, whatever. Try not to damage these roots. You see these roots? Try not to damage any of these roots. Because guess what? If you damage this root, what do you think gonna happen? This plant have to regenerate this root. But guess what? If you ain't damage the root, guess what's gonna happen? The plant's gonna just continue its journey. Especially, the next thing I wanna say, guys, and we make a lot of mistake in what I'm gonna say next. We make a lot of mistake. No, the soil I'm using here, this is rich soil, right? The soil I'm using is rich soil. When you transplant, it doesn't matter what type of plant it is. But whenever you transplanting a plant, you cannot move it from a rich condition to a poor condition. You actually reversing the growing cycle, because now, remember, this plant used to rich soil, loaded with nutrients and minerals. Now you take it from the rich soil and put it into a poor dry soil. What do you think gonna happen? It's gonna stand up there and try to get used to that type of soil. But if you move it from rich soil and place them in rich soil, like for instance, I take this from this rich soil and I put it into rich soil without damaging the root. What do you think gonna happen? It's gonna just continue its journey. Beautiful, growing nice and healthy. But if you damage the root and then you put it in a poor soil, what do you think gonna happen? The plant's gonna stand up right there and you ain't seeing no progress until it regenerate back that root and start to get adjust to this type of living. It's like you come from a beautiful living condition and now you go into a poor condition. Now you got to adapt yourself to that condition. It's the same thing with the plant. So always remember, the truth is, it's better to plant them in poor soil. Better to do your seedlings in poor soil and transplant them into rich soil. Because we know the plants love rich soil. So say for instance, you plant them, you germinate your seed in poor soil and transplant them in rich soil. They're going to be happy because it's a better condition. Rich soil with the nutrients they need. So it always have to be a better condition. That's how you get production. This is how your plants them grow. This is how your plants them grow. From the time you plant them, they start growing. You know, sometimes you might plant some plants and you're looking at them and they're looking like they're not moving out the ground. They're just there. They're not growing. They're not getting any taller. They're not getting any thicker. Sometimes we create that problem. And that problem can be putting them into a worse condition than what they germinate into. It's always got to be better condition. So if you notice what I'm doing here, the same soil I germinate these ginger with and make sure it's in the container. The same soil is in the container. I'm going to add a little dot to it. But guess what? The compost that they germinate into is here. So they're used to this. So these, I'm going to be giving you guys update on these ginger. I'm going to show you guys how these ginger growing from this healthy soil. So you want to maintain the same soil or it's got to be more richer soil. It cannot be poor soil. Because like I said, it will have to stay there and adjust itself to that type of living. All right? So yes, this, like I said, this right here is loaded with ginger already, propagating ginger. As you can see, the eyes them is opening, but I love the way how these going slow, not too fast. I love the way, the reason, because I want to plant these outdoors. Even these here, even them over here is already propagating, but I want them to go pretty slow because I want these to be in the ground. But the truth is, guys, if you're living in a tropical area, it's so different. If you're living in tropical, it's so different. But when you're living in colder area, colder climate, where you got to deal with the cold weather, it's really wise to start them indoors and even trying to get them growing from indoors. So the more successful you might be to get mature ginger is start them indoors and just place them in the container that's they're gonna be growing into. Because you cannot take ginger, say for instance, you put these out in the ground, March, April, when the weather starts changing. You got to remember these things take time to even start sprouting. So by the time they sprout, it might be May, June. They're sprouting up and coming up. You carry them out in April. You plant them in the ground. By the time May, they might now start pushing up. So you have May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 5 months. That's 5 months. And we know ginger take at least 6 to 8 months to mature. So you're going to be getting a younger ginger. You're not going to be getting the mature ginger. So if you want mature ginger, you have to start propagating them now. Maybe you should grow them in the container. And remember, this is the people who not in tropical area. In tropical area is different. But when you're talking about growing ginger in places where you have to start them indoors. You cannot wait till April to now taking them out and put them in the soil. You have to, you see these? These gonna be mature ginger. All these, or these already sprout already. So all I'm going to do with these, I'm gonna place them in, what is this, a turmeric? Let me see. No, this is ginger. So all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just place them in pots and I'm gonna keep these. You know what? I might just keep them propagate pretty slow. Then I transplant them, put them when the spring comes. But the truth is you want to make sure before the spring comes, they already sprout like this. You want to make sure when you planting them outdoors, they already reach this stage already. Maybe further, but you don't want when you transplant them in April. This is what you transplanted. No, this gonna take some time before it starts sprouting, and you don't have that time. Your time is precious. In doing gardening in cold areas. Your time is precious. So for the people who did not watch this whole life, I think you should, if you're really trying to grow ginger, I think you should go back and check out this live, because this live is a lot of information. Every live we do is loaded with information. Every live. We do so many different demonstrations, from composting, liquid fertilizer, soil, how to plant. And we have over 3,000 videos on our channel. They all have information how to be a successful gardener without spending an arm and a leg. Do anyone have any question tonight? Let me see. Case Chatter say, I never planted ginger before. All right, well, this live tonight gave you a good idea. The step you need to take to grow successful ginger. You need to start now. You don't want to wait till April, May to start ginger. By the time April, May, your ginger should already look like this. Maybe even further. Should already reach like this. Because your growing season is not long enough. Ginger take 6 to 8 months to mature. So we did a demonstration, guys. We propagate ginger in this container. All right, okay. That's what I'm saying, and that's what this channel about. To inspire and motivate. Thank you, you're welcome. Now, we did a demonstration. We propagate ginger in this soil. All this ginger was in this container. They all propagate, they all sprouted. Now is early, we're still in January. You can't plant these until outdoor until maybe April. They already sprout. By the time April reach, they're gonna reach, that's 3 months already. Could you imagine 3 months already? By the time April, January, February, March, April, exactly 3 months already. When April comes, we take this and we put this outdoor. And just leave them outdoor and let them grow in this container. And also in that container. And we got to get more container for these. Because these need to be in containers. The container where they belong. Where they're going to be growing their whole garden season. These got it already sprouted. Like I said, them over here going a little slow, and I kind of like that because these need to go in the ground. But I need them to be at least this before the spring. Because guess what? If they're in this stage, when the spring hit, April, if they're in this stage, when you plant them, the weather is nice, the soil is nice. You plant them in some rich, nice, soft soil, guess what? They're going to just shoot up out the ground. Because they don't need to go through that process of propagating. So they're just going to just grow up and start growing. But if you just take these and put them in the soil, April, you're not going to start see anything to maybe in May. You might start to see these things now start to come up. So start now, guys. And this was a simple, this live tonight is simple as possible. Even the baby watching this video will able to propagate, will able to transplant, because I break it down that the littlest baby could understand. So how you guys doing today? Is anyone in here who start growing ginger already? Is anyone in here who already propagating their ginger or planning to grow ginger? Talk to me, guys. Talk to me. Talk to me, guys. Is anyone in here that grows ginger or planning to grow ginger and already start propagating their ginger? Let me know, guys. I like to be ahead of time. I don't like to sit back and procrastinate. And then when you take it, when you realize March, April is on your shoulder, then you got to be hustling and bustling, trying to sow seed. Then when you realize it's too late, then you got to go out there and start buying starts. $5 for starts. It's best you be ahead. And like I said, guys, you don't need $1,000 setup to have a successful garden, to have a successful seed starting, like starting your seed. Like I always mention, because it's important, you cannot overwet these plants, these seedlings, and you need drainage in your container. Very, very important. You cannot bypass these things if you're looking for success. You cannot. If you're doing seedlings from indoor, do not overwet them. They don't need that much water when they're indoors. When they're outdoors, when the sun blazing, that's when they need the water. All right? I hope this video tonight was able to inspire someone. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Truly appreciate it. Yes, so this is garden season, and I don't have time to procrastinate and wait, guys. Look, we have one here again. This one have like 4 eyes. This, you could break off this piece right here. You could separate it. You could take off these 2 pieces right here. This can be a separate because it have its own eye, and this can be a root by itself. You also can just plant it just like that. And remember, guys, this is how you put your ginger. Flat. Not like this. Flat. That's how you put your ginger. You put them flat, and always remember, where you see the eyes, you look and you're going to see where the eyes position itself. You're going to see where the eyes like it looking to push itself up. So you want to make sure that's the part that goes up. All right? So once you put it down like this and you see the eyes like they're trying to go up, that's perfect. If you put it like this and you see the eyes like you're trying to go down, no, you turn it over. You make sure the eyes them, the sprouts them is facing up. You see, because guess what? This is what gonna become the stock. This is what gonna be growing the leaf. So you wanna make sure they turn upwards and not downwards. So we have a lot here still. And all these here is still in propagated. they almost propagate. You could see, if I don't know if you can see, the eyes them is coming out. So we have a lot of ginger here for plant. A lot of ginger, guys. And like I said, you could get at least 3 different root of ginger from one plant, from this right here. You want to make sure, before you break them, you want to make sure there's 3 eyes on every piece, at least 3 eyes on every piece. If you only see 2 eyes, then you don't need to break it. You want to make sure that whatever you break, there's 2 eyes that can catch and just start growing, guys. All right, so this is got ginger getting ready to put these in their own container, and I'm gonna put these back in the soil and just let them do their thing. Okay, Case Chapter say, I think I might next year. All right, all right. I like to start my vegetable seeds in February here in Maine, so to get a head start before transplanting into 5-gallon bucket. That's right. That's right. You need that head start. I did. Kiami said, I did, but it only grew leaf. Somehow the root never expand and seemingly rot. Okay. All right. So, too much water, too much water, too much water could be a part of that problem. Maybe too deep, maybe moist is, yes, that's right. I have some now has eyes, but it isn't as vibrant as your own. Like I have to return to the market for more. I will try both ginger. Do you grow? Yes, definitely. I go to Morocco as well. Same process. And let me ask, what? Take the ones them you have and soak them in some water. Soak them in some water before you try to propagate them. Because some of them, okay, ginger is very easy to propagate, very easy. Depending on where you have them, you might just see they start sprouting. So, if the people selling ginger, say you're buying store-bought ginger, if they're selling ginger, they don't want to sell ginger that's sprouting. They don't want to sell ginger that's sprouting. So, I think they have a spray that they can spray on the ginger and keep it from sprout. Yes. So when they spray that, it's gonna be very hard to sprout. So my goal is you always soak it in water. You soak it in water and try to get that spray or whatever it is off of the ginger. Then you propagate it however you are. You could also propagate it in water. You could place them in water and they propagate as well too. You could place them in tissue paper, paper towel, in a wet paper towel and put them in a Ziploc bag. That's another way as well. But them that you have, I think you should put them in some water. I guarantee you, if you put them in some water overnight, I guarantee you're going to see they start waking up. You're going to see their eyes like they're trying to poke through the ginger. Don't give up on them. I have some now that has eyes, but okay, all right. In advance. Thank you, okay, mommy, thank you. Appreciate you, thank you. Yes, I heard they spray it. That's why that's right, yes. You have to soak it. Because like I say, if they spray it, it's sprayed for a reason. It's sprayed because they don't want it to sprout like this. Could you imagine you go in a supermarket and you see the ginger sprout like this? Yeah, if you want to plant it, you're going to be happy. But if you're buying it to use, you're not going to want to see it this way. So that's why they make sure they think them. And the next thing again, if you could buy them from the store, just like this, and they're growing that easy, then everybody might just be growing their own ginger. Sometimes, you never know. But the goal is, I believe, the goal is for them not to sprout on the shelf. So ginger in water for 24 hours from what I read online. That's right. That's right. I did a video talking about that. I did a video, I did a shorts talking about it too. Very important to soak your ginger. Very important. Transplant Garden TV, I will try that soaking force. Soaking force before. Definitely. Definitely. Because you're supposed to. And even though you ain't get them from the store, even though you grow them yourself, soaking them in water, it kind of wake them up. It kind of, because remember days like dormant or days like sleeping. So soaking them in water, then when you soak them, you realize you see in the eyes them start waking up. Like they start pushing out. Like they tell him, I'm here, I'm alive. So that's important, guys. So it's not that hard and it's not that complicated. You just got to have some patience. And once you have patience, it will all work out. Gardening is about patience. It's about dedication. It also about doing your own experiment. All right? If you try something this way and it ain't work, don't give up. You try it the next week. But it's not that complicated. It's a beautiful thing. You know all this is science, you know, man. You check what I'm saying? All this is serious work right here. Understanding these things, it's a blessing. But how do you understand? And how do you learn? It's about experiment. It's about you trying different things. For instance, you living in a zone. You got to try, see what works for you. You see, you want your garden to be successful, you got to try, see what works for you. For instance, guys, before you start planting, before the garden season approach you, especially for the new gardeners. Before it approach you, you want to think about the plants them that you're growing. And you want to know which plant love heat. Then you look, you get up in morning, you go in the middle of the day, and you look and you see where the sun shines the most. That's important. That's important. The next thing with ginger, guys, ginger prefer the soil to be soaked. And gardening is about learning with mistake and having fun. That's right. That's right. That's right. Ginger do not like their roots to be sitting in water. They love drain soil. Soft, drain soil. Best type of soil you can grow ginger into, soft drain soil, not soft wetty soil. Soft drain soil. This is the thing, man. You just got to know what to apply. You just got to know what to apply to your garden, to the plants. Because plants have their requirement. And if plants have their requirement and you're able to give them that requirement, that's where success comes from. That's why it's important to do research. And when I say research, I'm telling you, you're doing it in your garden. Because you is in your garden. You got to do your research in your garden with your soil and see what works best in your garden, in your zone. Because something might be growing really nice over by some in a different zone. And in my zone, in my garden, it's not doing well. You see where I'm coming from? So, like for instance, if I plant cabbage, cauliflower, if I plant them in the fall, you know what happened? They bolt on me, they turn seeds. If I plant them in the fall. But if I plant them in February, they do wonderful. So that now, since I realized that, I'm not gonna plant these plants in the fall because I already know. And there's people who want to plant in the fall and it works great for them. So at the end of the day, it's what works for you and what works in your garden. If you're growing something over and over and it's not doing what you expect it to do, if you try different things, different ways, different soil, then maybe you need to move on to something else because nobody got time to waste. Everybody growing that they could have food to put on their table. Well, I'm doing that. I can't say everybody. I'm doing that. I grow to put food on my table. No. The reason why I believe in organic garden and I will not use nothing artificial around my plant. You know why? No. We understand the benefit of ginger. I remember in growing up as a little boy, like if your belly hurting you, this is what they used to boil for you. Ginger. I remember these things. They used to boil ginger. Like if you have a belly hurt, they boil ginger. And the ginger used to be so strong. The ginger is, you know, sometimes these days, you ain't getting that strong bony taste unless you grow them organic. When you grow them organic, no, you grow them yourself. You're getting all the nutrients, all what you need out of the ginger. You're getting what you need out of it because you're growing it natural. It receiving the nutrients it need, the mineral, and this is what it giving back to you. So this is why I'm so focused into organic garden because it helps build you. The food you eat is full of nutrients. The food you eat is full of minerals, vitamins. No, could you imagine? You as a gardener. You say you as a gardener. You growing all type of food. Right? But guess what? You need some vitamins. And you know what you got to do? You got to go to the store and buy vitamins in a bottle, out of a bottle, in a pill. Could you imagine that? And you consider yourself as you growing all different type of food. Yeah, I grow a lot of food. I grow all different type of food. But the food is not billing you. You still need to go to the store to buy vitamins. And you're growing food that's supposed to give you vitamins, minerals, fiber. Our food should be our healer. Our food should be building our immune system, healing our body. But if we're not growing it natural, if we add in all kind of stuff around them, we wouldn't receive. We wouldn't receive what our body needs. We will have to go and depend on a pill to give us vitamin. You see where I'm coming from? So that's my goal, guys. I cannot tell anyone what to do and how to grow their food and what to use. I cannot do that. I could only speak for myself. Planter, I have some lovely broken down leaf from about 2 winters ago, but I'm snowed in and can't get to them. I guess I will use some padded soil that I have on hand. That's right. That's right. That's right. And when you could get to that leaf mold, you just add it around them. That's right. Because Case Tractor said, my dad make map of his garden with names of the vegetables in rows on a paper so he will know where to plant each vegetables in his garden. I mean, that's right. You do what you got to do for success. That's right. You by me with such like that's right, that's right. Exactly. Let me see. Ex Hendrixie. I eat fresh ginger root every day. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. All right. I like that for you. All right. Yes, yes, yes. That's what we're talking about, guys. Gardening could be challenging, but it's not that hard. As you know, it might be difficult depending on the setup you have. But if you have the space, it can be an amazing thing, man. I'm telling you. I enjoy it. I don't just enjoy it because I love to grow food. I enjoy it because I feel it's necessary for me to grow them. I think it's necessary because in today, I can't knock, listen to me, I'm not here to knock out anyone grow food. But I don't want to grow my garden in a commercial fashion at all. A commercial fashion, something we got to understand. These people got to feed millions of people. And if you got to feed millions of people, you got to do what you got to do. But as a gardener in the backyard, I believe that I should take the necessary step to make sure that I grow my food, that I can receive what I expect. You can't grow your food a certain way. You know, like for instance, you might be growing vegetables. You're growing lettuce, you're growing kale, you're growing collards, you're growing all these things. But guess what? What you put in around them is basically defeating the purpose because of the things you add in around them. What you add in around them might boost them up for grow big and massive for the first couple of years, but what's in them? You see what I'm coming from? What make it? And then where does puzzle me to? There are certain things, if you put around your plant, if you put it too close, it burn down the plant. That's where does puzzle me. I don't understand. What is in that made that happen? But like I said, I only could know for myself. I'm not here to discriminate. I'm not here to tell anyone how to grow their garden. But my experience shows me that you could grow a natural garden and your result could be on another level. All right? Is this the same technique used for growing turmeric? Definitely. They both the same plant, not the same plant, but same step. The same step. You have to, they push out the eye, and they, just like this, same step. Same step. Same method, just like the turmeric. And if you notice, I don't know if you guys notice, but these days, if you buy turmeric in the store, you naturally see where the eye is supposed to be. You naturally see that cut. You naturally see that cut like, so you got to know how to sprout these turmeric, these store-bought turmeric, which is a good way. Soak them in water, and then you could stock them in soil. Cover them completely with the soil. You could also use paper towel. Wet the paper towel, Ziploc bag. It's the same process. Same process. Your digest system. Yes, yes. Come me, okay. I live, okay. All right. Yes, turmeric and ginger are like cousin. Definitely. Okay, I use, Case Chapter say I use sawdust for my dad, Bansa meal, to put around my flowers bed. At the apartment. Free sawdust from, all right. All right. You just gotta, listen to me. You gotta do what you gotta do. But I don't believe in spending money to grow a garden. So that's why I save my seed. I make my own compost. I make my own liquid fertilizer. I make my own compost tea. This is why you see me here, rooting my ginger, because I'm not trying to buy anything. I'm trying to put in the work to make sure that I get what I'm looking for. So this is right now, my ginger crop already begin. My Edo crop already begin. My Edo field is already planted out, my Edos them. And I still have over 50 pounds of Edo to plant. Now I'm working on my ginger. I'm working on my turmeric. I have my peppers them. I have my cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower. I'm not waiting until last minute to do this. I'm doing it now. So for the people who now come in here, what we did tonight, we transplant some ginger into this container. What we did, we had a lot of ginger in this container, and what we did, we was propagating them. And yes, a lot of them propagate. A lot of them propagate. So what we did, we take them back out the container, and what we did, we add 6 in the container, because this was definitely too much to be in one container. And what happened is, we still have at least 3 months before we could take them outdoors. So what we do, we start putting them in these containers. So with these containers, this is where they're gonna be growing, in these containers. What we have here is most likely to go in the ground. All right? But these don't sprout already, don't start pushing leaf. So we don't want to keep them too crowded, because we're gonna happen, their leaf root gonna tangle up with each other, then we're gonna have to separate them, then we're gonna be damaging the root, then we're gonna block the growing process. When the spring, we don't want to go through that. So once we see them start sprouting, we're gonna put them in containers, but we really want to grow them in the ground. That's our goal. All right? So how you guys doing tonight? Thank you guys for coming out again. I appreciate each and every one of you. As you know, around this time, we do a lot of live at night, late night live. We do late night, so we can have this type of conversation. So I just want to say again, thank you guys again for coming out on another beautiful night. I know it's cold for a lot of people tonight. Just sleep well, and listen me, don't procrastinate. The garden season is right at hand. We heading for February. As soon as 28 days, we in March. And we know that's where the spring begins. Don't procrastinate. Start sowing your seed. Start doing what you got to do, because you don't want to go out there and got to buy one pepper plant for $5. So do what you got to do. Stay positive. And always remember to motivate yourself. Because if you're not able to motivate yourself, you might be hard to be motivated. Because guess what? Not everybody gonna motivate you. You see what I'm saying? So you have to motivate yourself. All right? And be good to yourself. Love yourself. Bless yourself. Eat healthy. Always remember to exercise. Take a walk sometimes. And let your food be your medicine. Thank you guys for coming out. You guys have a very, okay, let me see, very resourceful. Thank you, thank you. Thank you guys, thank you guys. Lord Planter was, okay, go ahead, you go ahead. Lord Planter was about to ask about beloved Edos. By last frost, it's actually lately 4 to 15. When should I get the Edos at the market to place in the oil? Oh, well, okay. If you want to grow Edos, look my Edos them right now. You see, these are my Edos I'm going to be planting. So, for you, you could start to put your Edos in the ground in March. start putting the headers in the ground in March. A good thing you can do, since you living in your zone, a good thing you could do, you could start putting them in some water in a container and allow them to sprout. So when March come, they already sprout. So when you plant them, they're just going to continue their journey. You understand? Instead of March, you know, putting them in the soil. Okay? But March is a good time for you. In my crop already planted, but I still have more to plant, which gonna be pretty soon. But March might be the right time for you, okay? Was falling asleep when I saw enter my room, and I saw you on the live. Okay, that's wonderful. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, guys. So you guys have a blessed and wonderful night. And hopefully, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, guys, to hit the like button, support the channel. All it takes for you to hit the like button, you can always come here and you can learn so much. And you all welcome. You can ask questions about organic garden. We will answer to the best of our ability. All are welcome. All right? Okay, let me see. Much thanks, Planter Garden TV and all chatters for the engagement. That's right. That's right. And guys, nothing wrong if you come and engage. All right? You can come, you can ask questions, you can even chat with others in the chat. But once is on gardening. All right? Good night and talk to you tomorrow. That's right, that's right. Like the live on the way. All right, definitely. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a blessed and wonderful night. Appreciate each and every one of you. Good night, Kiami. Good night, Case Chapter. Blessings to you all and blessings to everyone who joined this live tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have a blessed and wonderful night. Peace and love.